My people, welcome back to this class. Yes, we want to look at polynomials in mathematics. Don't be afraid. I can see that you are panicking. Don't be afraid. Because when students hear topics like this, they start shaking. No, it's something you are conversant with. You may not know that you have been doing polynomials all this while. You've been doing it. Your quadratic expression is polynomial. Your linear expression is polynomial. Now, what do we mean by polynomial? In a layman's language, in a simple way, we say that polynomial is any algebraic expression. Note the word. Polynomial is any algebraic expression that contains algebraic terms, that are either added or subtracted together. That's all. That's all about polynomial. In my previous video, I have defined algebraic expression. What do you mean by algebraic? Any statement of mathematics that contains where letters represent numbers, where we have x, y, and z. That's algebra. Now, what do we now call normally algebraic expression? The power is what actually makes us call something algebraic expression. For instance, if I have 3x, make sure the power is a positive power. Once it is still a positive power, it's still algebraic. It's still algebra. Then, what if I have 5x squared plus 3x plus 1? It's still algebra. Okay, let me clean one of the terms. Let's say we have 3x plus 4x raised to power 3 minus 2. Let's have it like this. This is still algebraic. Why? Because all the powers are positive powers. Now, and all of these that we have on the board, they are polynomials too, because they are algebraic expressions. So far, the power is not negative or fraction. We can always call them polynomials. Now, another thing that makes us call this polynomial is that they contain different terms that are either added or subtracted. So that's another thing that makes us call them polynomial. Now, if an algebraic expression like this contains only one term, because this is only one term, we can have a special name for the polynomial. This one is called monomial. Monomial. We derive this from the word polynomial. Remove poly and add mono. Mono stands for one because it has only one term. Now, anyone that has two terms, we call it binomial. Binomial. Now, this is a binomial expression. The word binomial too is a familiar word that we hear in mathematics. You'll be hearing binomial expansion, binomial theorem. We'll be doing that later. Now, how many terms do we have here? 1, 2, and 3. This is trinomial. Trinomial. So it means if we have 4 terms, like let's say we have 3x raised to power 4 minus 4x squared plus 2x raised to 3 minus 1. We have 4 terms here. This one is tetranomial. It continues like that. So all of these are called polynomial. Now, before I round up this class, all polynomials, the ones you can see on the board, they conform to a general polynomial formula. Let's call it P of x equal to an x raised to the power of n plus an minus 1 x raised to the power of n minus 1 plus an minus 2 x raised to the power of n minus 2. It continues like that till we get to a2 x raised to the power of 2 plus a1 x raised to the power of 1 plus a0 x raised to the power of 0. Now, because x raised to 0 is 1, you can just neglect it and remove the x raised to power 0. Now, all these polynomials, they conform to this general polynomial expression. Now, you can see that the x raised to power n, x raised to power minus n minus 1, x raised to power n minus 2, x is the variable here. That's the letter, the unknown letter that we are finding. But the a sub n, comma, a sub n minus 1, comma, a sub n minus 2, and so on till we get to a1 and a0. All of these are called coefficients. We call them coefficients. So just like we have 3 here, 5, 3, 3, 4, they are the coefficients of this. Now, especially a sub 0 is called the constant term. The constant term. The constant term. And then a sub n must not be equal to 0. Because that's the leading coefficient. A sub n is the leading coefficient. It is the one that is attached to our variable. A sub n is not equal to 0. That's the leading coefficient because it's the one that is attached to the highest power of the unknown. Now, n that we are seeing in the formula, this n that we are seeing is known as the degree of the polynomial. Degree of the polynomial. So, in the next video, by God's grace, I will use degree to classify polynomial again. So that's another way of classifying polynomial. So n stands for the degree, and this n must always be a member of positive integer. N must be a positive integer. It must not be negative. So, and